Hello, YouTube! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is Zest versus Bbyong in their semi-final series of the IEM 2015 World Championships held in Katowice. And this is Vani Research Station. Now, if you haven't caught games 1 and 2 of this series yet, I'm going to do a little bit of a spoiler for you. Our Protoss player Zest is pretty much cleaning up the floor with Bbyong at this point. He's playing really well, some Blinkstalker play, some Dark Templar harassment, just containing the Terran, not letting him get those drops off that are so dangerous to the Protoss, not letting a giant Marine Marauder Deathball with Widow Mines come up either from the Terran, just really wanting to take Bbyong out of his game early, and I think he is doing an excellent job of it. So, on this map, again, it is very narrow. It can create some shorter games depending on how things go. We'll speed it up a little bit here, though, in the early going, just because there's usually not much going on. If there's something crazy, I will slow things down, though. So, this is Protoss versus Terran. Again, the Protoss is all about some crazy timings, doing some things that Terran doesn't expect. Terran is about defending in the early game using bunkers and siege tanks and things like that to defend against those attacks, and then eventually move out with a giant death ball of their own and drops and just things to cripple the Protoss economy and eventually win the game. But in the last couple games, it has been Zest calling the shots, just doing a great job with his micro, with his macro, economically being ahead and just making huge hits, taking huge haymakers to the face of our Terran player and doing well with him and connecting. So Bbyong taking his natural on this safe position, getting harassed a little bit by that probe, but no, they just switch off there, able to finish the command center, no problem. It is a good scout, though, by the probe, seeing exactly what's going on from our Terran player. I mean, obviously, he knew there was probably going to be a command center going down just because it is so safe. There is nothing that can get in here except for flying units. Blinkstalkers cannot blink across this gap. So taking the early natural is a smart choice for any race on this map, really, but especially, you know, Terran and Protoss, where you might want to be a little bit more careful. You can take that comfortably and know you'll be okay for a long time, in my estimation. Now, Zest taking his natural, again, a little bit later than the Terran player, but he does have his gas up sooner, so you might want to tech up a little bit faster. We have a Zealot, or sorry, a Stalker warping in, a pylon at the front, a Robo Facility, a little bit hidden away from the front. I think a good scan would see this. Robo Facility either for Colossus or for Immortals, I think depending on what gets scattered out from the Terran player. We have reactors and tech labs going down for Terran, just trying to get the upgrades on those Marauders and Marines as soon as possible. They are so good against Protoss. The upgrades do scale very nicely. 4 gas being taken down from our Protoss player now, so we must be seeing some early teching up. Let's see what we're going to see. I don't see any probes interested in doing some hidden tech, but maybe we are just wanting to get a lot. Here we go. We're going to see a Warp Prism, probably going to warp in some Stalkers or Zealots here at the natural, get some damage down. There is a missile turret, though, ready and waiting for that Prism, so if Zest isn't careful with it, it might get sniped down. Patrolling the front with this Mothership Core, any scouting SCVs will get taken down by it, and Hallucinated Oracle might just be a distraction, though, to head on down there to the main and allow the Warp Prism to do the actual damage. So we'll have to see what happens. Where is that Warp Prism? Did we... I don't know. Oracle coming in, going to get a small heart attack to Bbyong. Recognizes, oh shoot, this is an Oracle. What's going to happen now? And recognizing, okay, it didn't kill any of my SCVs. It is likely a hallucination. We're not going to worry too much about it, but just in case, we're going to follow it around, not give it too much of a free scout. Sits out there with 4 hit points and then evaporates. So here comes the Warp Prism Colossus drop. What on earth is going on here? Zest is moving out with a single Colossus inside that Warp Prism. He'll probably warp in some Zealots or Stalkers to go along with it, but how many gateways do we have for the Protoss player? We have 1 gateway, 2 gateways, 3 gateways, 4, 5 gateways, which are a bit far off. He can't warp in from all of them right now, but we have a drop moving out at the same time for our Terran player, moving right on up. Is able to take down the Widow Mine before it could burrow. A good pick up there from the Colossus. Trying to snipe some things down, forcing the drop back. Dropping everybody out, trying to snipe down the Warp Prism before it can escape, but no, it can't. So I think maybe the Warp Prism did what it was supposed to do and force the Marine Army from doing too much of an attack on the Terran, on the Protoss base. So moving on up now with some Marines up towards the front. There is a single Colossus and some sentries and a Stalker there, so a pretty good army. I think they'd be able to take this out if they turn around. Did some good play there, yes. Easily sniping 3 of them down. The 2 other Marines run away as fast as they can. We have drops heading on up to the natural base. I don't see any cannons here. I don't see anything of defense here. Mothership Core moving on. Probably going to try to do the Photon Overcharge as soon as possible, as soon as the Mothership Core recognizes what's going on. Sniping right on in, taking down this pylon, which doesn't depower anything. Sniping down, yes, now just killing workers. Workers are being forced to run away. Zealots warping in, trying to defend. Using all of that stimmed power from these Marines to try and snipe down this natural as fast as humanly possible. Will Bbyong be able to get it? Yes, he does snipe it off, and he does lift off, and I think he's just going to boost out of there as soon as he can. A big army, though, at his own front door now. 2 Colossus, a whole bunch of sentries, and Stalkers just walking right up the front door. Not any resistance at all from our Terran player. Spreading out, trying to negate the advantage from the Colossus by getting a nice arc here. Trying to snipe down one of the Colossus, does manage to get it. Might try to snipe the other one as well, but it is a little bit too far away. Some good force fields there from Zest, doing a lot of damage. I don't know if Zest needs to win with this push, but doing a lot of damage and killing a lot of SCVs would be nice. Are we going to see some more force fields coming down? We are definitely warping in a Zealot. And the Colossus in the back now has 7 kills, doing a lot of damage, just mowing down SCVs with that attack. Still nobody really focusing it down. Marines at the back trying to do some damage to these Stalkers. They do take out 1. Going for 2 more Marines, more Marauders coming in. But this Colossus now has 11 kills and finally does get sniped down. But another Colossus walks in from the low ground to the high ground, killing everything that it can. Looking at the income tab, it's 32 to 31 Harvesters. It's fairly even. If Bbyong can clean this up, he might be able to come back. Does manage to snipe down that Colossus, taking down a Marauder, but 2 more Marauders come in. I think this is going to be enough to clean this up. The Stalker is trying to run away, but gets killed instead, and this Stalker also gets cleaned up. And there's a small Marine Marauder ball moving out, trying to defend the 3rd base now. So now it is officially 3 base Terran to 1 base Protoss. So way to hold that attack from Bbyong, playing very excellently. This barracks is going to burn down, though. I don't think it's going to be repaired in time. No, it was almost repaired in time, but not quite. Mothership Core doing a lot of damage to these Marauders that cannot shoot up. They are forced to retreat back home. Even getting healed is not quite enough to deal with that Mothership Core damage. More Marines now. 4 Marines in this group are going to try to snipe down that Mothership Core. Zest is not showing any intention of rebuilding his natural here. He wants to win the game right now. He's going to use his micro. He's going to use his everything that he can to make this happen. But I think there are too many Marines and too many Marauders. They're going to clean up this army. And yes, Zest calls the GG here in Game 3. So Bbyong prevents the 3-game sweep, manages to take a 1-2. Not a lead or a tie, but I guess he manages to pull it to 1-2 in the series in this semifinal. We'll have to move on to Game 4 and see what happens. Can Bbyong force a deciding Game 5, or will Zest be able to finish it out? So, this has been an excellent game. I really enjoyed casting this one as well. If you like what you saw, hit that like button. Show your friends what you're watching with Falcon Paladin. You can also subscribe to my videos to catch these daily Blizzard uploads that I do cast every single day. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/FalconPaladin and Facebook at facebook.com/FalconPaladin. And until next time, you take care of yourself.